Hello, I hope this is finding you well. I'm coming to you from the Animation Academy in Burbank, California, where everybody's happy. And my name is Charles Zimbilis, and I'm bringing you another episode of Share the Lesson with yours truly. And this is the second episode that I'm creating so far, and I'm looking forward to doing many more of these. Okay, I'd like to show you something that I did last night. And I drew a picture of the school's mascot, this character I call Art Shark. And Art Shark has a really interesting history. And someday I'll get to that. Don't have time for it now, but we'll dedicate an episode to the history of Art Shark at some point. In any case, say hi, Art Shark. There you go. And what I like to do is I'd like to go through this very simple process of creating a color illustration of Art Shark. The reason why I was doing this was I wanted to do something for our YouTube channel, and I would like to take this time to say hello to everybody who's on YouTube, who's subscribed to us, and appreciate that, and all of you who are with us on Facebook. And I drew this in Photoshop, layer of Photoshop, using the input device as a Cintiq. And a Cintiq I'll explain it for you. A Cintiq is, I guess this thing is acting funny. That's okay. Let's save that for another time. Basically, it's a monitor that you can draw upon, and it has a nice smooth glass surface. It's spelled CINTIQ, and you can do some research into that, and that's what the standard equipment in the animation business today. Okay, so with that said, let's go on. What I want to show you here is how I progressed from this rough sketch of Art Shark into something that would be nice and polished and appropriate for the header for our YouTube channel. Okay, the next phase from this is that I went and let's see if I can remember the layer. I think it's this one right here. I did a cleanup of the line drawing. I copied it into another layer, put a sheet of white behind it, and just went ahead and got in there and did some nice cleanup work. And when I had that done, I copied that layer to another level, another layer, and that was my color layer, and I laid in the color. Okay, Art Shark has a palette, so I just pulled out that palette and went ahead and dropped in his colors. And after that, I went and I colored the line. It's an easy thing to do in Photoshop. I have to find, there we go, there we are. Okay, I colored the line. Alright, so that heavy black line is out there. The colored line gives it more interest and vitality. And the black line's fine, looks great, and that would work too, but this one kind of softens things up and puts it in a kind of like in an environment. And then I finished it off with, a shadow layer. Easy to do. Great, and I got a nice illustration of Art Shark ready to go, and this is the final result of it right there. Okay, dropped in the Academy's logo, a nice, clean, colorful header for our YouTube channel. So there we go. I've been meaning to do that for a long time. I'm so happy I finally got that taken care of. Plus, this was a lot of fun to do. Now, on this episode of Share the Lesson, we're going to talk about a special student that I have who's very talented, already working as a professional. His name is Tan. He is living in the Phoenix, Arizona area, and he's a very talented artist. He's already doing like really nice stuff in Photoshop. He's done some concept development artwork for films and stuff, and he's multi-talented. He's works in graphic design as well. And this is one of the sketches, concept sketches, that Tan had submitted. He likes to do monsters, and really unusual fantasy things, very unique. And what's happening here with Tan, the reason why Tan is with me is because he wants to shore up his work. He wants to solidify his work and, like do something to, really kind of, take it to the next level, take it to the next step. And he's very imaginative, really got a great imagination. And he surprises me with what it is that I'm seeing, but it's all like a suggestion, friends. See that? It's very suggestive, and what's happening here is we're not seeing a commitment to form, which you have to do sooner or later if you want to, bring this into reality. It's a nice, spontaneous sketch, but what I did was, I started working with him, what I did was we made a commitment to the form of this image. See, I went ahead and with my red pencil, I fixed the perspective on the horns. You really wouldn't see the horns that way on a side view. I added some extra real estate to the back of his head to accentuate the triangle, get rid of the parallels that we were seeing. Solidified the body, gave some more meat to the upper legs, and tapered it down into a nice, efficient and smooth transition into the feet. Increase the size of the feet, punch that out, a little bit more, so you've got like some actual, some beefy shapes to lock into. And then I went ahead and I wasn't really sure about that tiny wing that I kind of saw coming through, so I went ahead and I gave him something that was more substantial. So this is what we wound up with, breaking down what, like committing to the form, committing to the image, and in this situation I would hand it back to Tan, where he would put in these really interesting details and stuff. My whole thing is all about get the foundation down. Let's get something rock solid, and once we've got that, we can go from there. Okay, this right here is another interesting drawing that he did, and this is like a fairy creature of some kind, and really nice, real nice, interesting things. But again, very ambiguous. Really ambiguous. It's a nice sketch, but there's still a few things that you can kind of work on. This was my initial underdrawing, and what I did was I went in there, committed to the form, broke everything down, so we know exactly what we're dealing with. And there was some problems with the leg here, like the foot can't possibly be at this angle when the leg is at this angle. It's just anatomically impossible. The foot cannot rotate on the ankle like that. So I was experimenting with some possible positions for the leg and how the foot would be positioned with that. I kind of got into a little bit more of trying to explain what's going on with the hand, and also not getting so ambiguous with the wings. And then my final overlay was where I made an even stronger commitment to the form. I didn't really focus on the underlying issues describing the underlying forms. I was really just trying to commit to the lines that I know that I want the viewer to see. Okay? And you can see there that I think I might have overdone it with the placement of the hand right here, but I was really going for the flow. I was really going for the form, and I was really trying to figure out the best way to resolve issues with the hand and get the most out of that aspect of the composition. Okay, the next one here is now Tan is into like those early Godzilla movie era things, and this was a character called Gorgo, which his interpretation of it from these early Godzilla type movies from the very early 1960s. And this was his interpretation of it, and there was so much here that I really couldn't quite understand initially, and then started breaking it down. Tan's got he's got a real knack for like surface textures and adding all this real interesting stuff to his characters. But again, the area that we have to work at is the foundation. Okay, making that making a transition from a loose suggestive drawing to actually bringing everything to life and committing to form. And this is what I did on top of what he did. Okay, I made the commitment to that leg, and we brought out this arm a little bit more so you could see it and it wouldn't be lost within the silhouette. Got a little negative shape right in there that we can introduce in the composition. I brought the jaw of the creature back Okay, instead of the way that bottom lip was jutting out, I didn't particularly feel that was strong. I think that this was a more appealing way of handling that area of the design. And then I went ahead and I made a further commitment to the lines that I want you to see. And he's got this really interesting tail here that and this is one of the strengths of Tan's imagination. He can come up with very unique design elements, and it's got this beefy tail coming out this way that leads out to these kind of I don't know, like these kind of things that could club you over the head with, just so I kind of worked that into the composition, made a lot of interesting, got interesting overlap going on over there, and this was the final result. This was a cool drawing. This was very cool. I didn't really mess with the ones down here. I really wanted to make sense of what was going on with this other one. As you can see, Tan is like really, he's got a knack for this. He really does. And once he gets his foundational stuff down, you're going to see him doing some really brilliant work. I'm very confident that we're going to be seeing that from him. He's got this parallel boxy kind of thing going on over here with his jaw, and I had a real, I don't know if I interpreted all this in a manner that would be what he was trying to angle out, what he was trying to accomplish, but I was just kind of looking for different ways of establishing a basic foundation without affecting the drawing, the concept too much. And then what I would normally do in like let's say if we were working together, what I would normally do is hand it back to Tan and say, hey Tan, do your magic on it, add all this extra, information, and let's see what you do with all this. I'm a very foundation oriented person. He's a very detail oriented person, so surface detail and textures, all that kind of thing. And this is where I took it, as far as I took it. And the last one here was this kind of strange looking ogre type of creature, which was, he's very adventurous, he's very bold in what he likes to do with his design work. But look at how boxy the body is. Look how boxy the body gets. You don't really know if the body wants to kind of like be like showcase upper body strength, or have him get kind of chubby. Okay, I chose to do to go with upper body strength. And what I did was I did my own rendition of this character by structuring it out and establishing the commitment as far as the torso is concerned, like which way is it going to go. So I opted for that real broad, upper body kind of thing. And all this is too much ambiguity with the leg. There's no real structure here with this leg, so I made a commitment to the legs and committed them to, like form and the pose in general. And everybody's different. Everybody's different. Everybody's got a different way of doing things and interpreting things. I can't be Tan and Tan can't be me, but I can give him information as to how he can take that will help him to further enhance his drawings and develop a more substantial aspect to what it is that he's doing, and that would give him like the vehicle where he can really his imagination can really take off. And then what I did was we kind of ended it up with a shadow layer here that can further describe form and atmosphere and what's going on with the shapes and stuff. And you're assuming that this is going to be modeled in CG, so give as much information as you can to the modeler as far as just what the character looks like and what's going on with the shapes and all that kind of stuff. Okay, all right, well, that's it for today. Thank you very much for participating and watching this video. Please feel free to subscribe to us on YouTube, and if you like us, then like us on Facebook too. And thank you everybody for being a part of this. I'll have another episode for you soon of Share the Lesson from Burbank, California, with yours truly. In the meantime, keep creating and have fun, and always learn something new. Bye.